I'm Melissa Lee, live at the Credit Suisse Blockchain West Symposium, where the biggest names in crypto and blockchain are gathered. Our next guest made millions spotting the subprime mortgage bubble during the financial crisis, and now his hedge fund is launching a new arm focused on cryptocurrencies. Joining us now is John Burbank of Passport Capital. John, great to have you with us.
Thanks.
How exactly are you approaching the space? Is it cryptocurrencies specifically, or are there equity plays involved in this as well?
There are all kinds of things that you can do, and there's a whole ecosystem that's parallel to Wall Street, made up of people you probably have never met before. Just how I try to describe it to investors. So what we're doing, we started a dedicated crypto hedge fund in January and a fund-to-fund. I think it's analogous to what hedge funds were like 20, 25 years ago, which gave rise to the fund-to-fund industry. We also where we're able to, we can be long the largest coins in our special opportunities fund, and then there are some companies. Overstock is our largest position as affected by and investing in this space.
What are some of your biggest cryptocurrency holdings across your funds?
Well, the top three, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ethereum are things that we own. There are a few other things that we're doing, but you know what? I guess I would want to tell you that we're doing this in an institutional way. We're anticipating that the significance of this change, this technological change, is going to become something all institutions are going to have to invest in, are going to want to invest in. They're just not investing in it yet. So we're taking a long-term institutional approach, both facing the ecosystem of those involved and facing institutional investors who are now studying this very actively.
You mentioned Overstock. There are very few pure play or even close to pure play sort of blockchain or crypto equities out there. I believe a position is also AMD. How do you decide what has enough exposure to the space? I mean, the CFO on the earnings call in January, I believe, said it's hard to quantify how much they're actually getting from crypto mining. So if AMD can't quantify it, how do you actually decide that it's a big enough play for you?
That's a good point. There are more dedicated stocks, dedicated plays in Japan than there are in the U.S. right now, at least ones that we would want to invest in. And Japan is essentially all in on blockchain and allowing cryptocurrencies. We're looking at this in a global approach, just as we have done with any equity, any sector around the world. And I do anticipate, though, that this is going to change pretty rapidly. I think the change is going to surprise people how much more relevant than they expected it will be. So this is the way it is now. But it will change a lot in the next year.
So looking overseas, where perhaps there are more blockchain companies that are better plays on this, for instance, in Japan, what is a big holding there? Can you tell us about a company that is really leveraging blockchain?
Well, I don't want to spend much time talking about individual positions. I'm not trying to promote anything, but SBI Holdings is one that has the largest e-broker, as well as a 9 or 10% holder of Ripple, and now that is something that's understood to have considerable value.
Last quick question here. You bet against subprime mortgages ahead of the financial crisis. You probably felt pretty strongly about that. How strongly do you feel about investing in cryptocurrencies and blockchain? Very
strongly. My biggest macro trend belief the next 5 years is that technology is going to change every major sector in the market in the world. So the question is, for financial professionals, is this the significant technological change in finance? And what are you going to do about that as a fiduciary and investor? The thing about finance, though, is if it is a big change in finance, it is therefore going to be a massive change in commerce, which is to say it's going to affect almost all businesses all over the world. And the fact that it's happening in parallel, the fact that it's not a Silicon Valley dominated thing, the fact that it's happening all over the world, I believe it's going to grow at a much faster pace than what people are used to. And therefore, I think the relevance is there for everyone to try to understand. The irony is that institutions and fiduciaries have virtually no money involved, in which case they haven't put the time to understand what exactly it's doing.
Okay, John, we're going to have to leave it there, but thanks so much. Fascinating stuff.